the record button to start recording this episode because, yeah, it's going to be a long night.
But only a quick 30 minutes for you listeners.
Hello and welcome to another riveting off-season, sort of still in the season episode of the Red, White, and Blues podcast. I'm Daniel. He is Jason. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good. I'm ready to kick off another episode in season 3.5. Since this is the season that never ends, apparently, thanks to the damn FIFA World Cup.
Oh,
how are you, Daniel? Are you excited to be here?
Well, I guess. I mean, I don't really know. Like, I have one day of work left, and then I'm going to be off for 2 weeks, and I'm going to go on vacation, and I'm never going to come back. I'll be back. Yes, I will be back.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. The blog is all yours. This channel is all yours. Everything is yours.
This channel will die. This channel will die without you. It can't do it without you.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, executive decision says I will be going for the majority of the Club World Cup. If, however far Chelsea decides that, hell, we might make out the group stage if we lose tomorrow night. So, there's that,
It's possible.
It's possible. So, however far Chelsea decides to make it, if Jason wants to make an episode, he may make an episode. If he doesn't have time, he doesn't have time because he has a job and a life. So,
epic rant time, baby. Here we go.
God forbid Chelsea doesn't make it out the group stage. Jason might just have a melt. Which I mean, I will still be here tomorrow, so we could do a meltdown.
Oh, we can melt together.
We can melt together tomorrow. So if we don't make it out the
group stage.
But yeah, anyway, so in lieu of that, we're going to do our yearly routine episodes of Keep, Sell, Loan. Where we go through Chelsea's roster and we give you our takes on what this is. I guess we'll preface it. This is sort of it's a mixture of our opinions, what we want to happen, and what we think will happen. Because I do have things I want to happen, but I also realize they're not realistic. So we're gonna split this year. We're learning, guys. It took us 3.5 years. We're going to split this into 3 episodes. Instead of doing 1 hour-and-a-half long episode with a whole roster, we're going to split it into 3 different episodes. So, that'll be your weeks coming up. And if Jason decides to do some content between, please do. You have my love and blessing to do that. Yes.
You're like,
not that you need
something around here, you bum. That's what you're saying. That's what you're thinking right now.
No, not that you need that anyway. I mean, so it's like, usually when one of us goes on vacation, something happens because, you know, last time you traveled internationally, Thomas Tuchel got fired, and I had to do an emergency podcast. And I'm not traveling internationally.
Potter got fired. I saw Potter, and then
then he got fired. That's right. So that happened. So see, I mean, bad things happen when you travel internationally, Jason. That's all I'm saying with Chelsea. Bad things tend to happen.
We'll see what happens when we're gonna sign Lionel Messi or something while you're
probably. Even though I'm not going international, I'm going pretty far away. So
and we'll have to drink Michelob now since he's in all the ads for that now.
No, that's my wife. She drinks Michelob Ultras, not this guy. This guy drinks Miller Lite.
Michelob Ultra is like water pretending to be beer.
Yeah,
to me,
very much is.
I won't talk about Michelob anymore.
No, we can talk about Michelob. They'll never sponsor us anyway.
Here.
They'll never sponsor us anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we don't want Michelob.
Yeah, I would reject them if they tried to sponsor us.
We don't care how much you do.
Actually, you could give me probably very little money, and I would I would pour myself out to Michelob.
Yeah, I would sell myself to Michelob.
Oh man. All right. So in the first episode, we are going to cover goalkeepers and defenders. And as per usual, we will not go through everybody. Some of these players will be quick. Some of them we will spend a little more time on than others. Goalkeepers is usually the quickest out of all the ones. So let's just start at the top, Jason. Let's just dive into this. Let's just get into the nitty gritty on the first one. What are we gonna do with Robert Sanchez next year? What? Okay, let me say this. What is realistic? What do you realistically think will happen? But in your heart, Jason, what do you want to happen, Jason, in your heart?
Weren't we linked to another defender or goalkeeper at some point?
Yeah, Mike Mignon from AC Milan.
But that fell through, right?
Yeah, because we didn't want to fork out an extra £3 million or euros or whatever it is. I have my opinions.
Cheap, aren't we?
I have my opinions about that. Like, we can get into it. I think Mignon is a good goalkeeper, but I think he's gone downhill the last couple of years, save percentage wise. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's as good of a goalkeeper. I mean, statistically speaking, he's not as Sanchez when it comes to stopping the ball, which is the point of a goalkeeper. But he is a million times better than Sanchez at playing it out the back. So it's one of these weird things because Sanchez doesn't let Maresca play Maresca ball. And if we had Mike in there, we'd be able to play Maresca ball. But then you're also going to give up probably a few more goals because he's not as good of a shot stopper as Sanchez is. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. People on X disagree with me wholeheartedly, but it is what it is.
No, we're in a weird situation goalkeeper wise, right? Because we were calling for another goalkeeper last season.
Yeah.
And it looks like the club wants to get another one, although the thing with Mike fell through.
Yeah.
So this is really hard because we are talking about our current starting goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Who I think, if stays, will continue to be the starting goalkeeper.
Yes.
If we don't sign anybody. So is it a case of Maresca is going to bat for Bob? I mean, everybody was very vocally supportive of Bob from the club side of things throughout the season, to the point where we get little nuggets of wisdom like we're just waiting for his talent to catch up with his decision making. Or his decision making talent. Either way is not great.
Yeah.
So I just need, and then you have the added caveat with Bob of he had one of the highest save percentages.
Yeah.
Like amongst goalkeepers, I'm pretty sure, not just Premier League, but like worldwide or something.
Yeah.
So it's a weird situation because I think in any other situation, if you were talking about like the coach or something, I understand. I understand the coach is not a goalkeeper, everyone. But if you're talking about like the coach, you would speak of it in terms of, well, they've earned the right to stay another year, but it's a really weird situation when you get into Bob's situation. But is Bob going to be happy playing backup if we get another goalkeeper?
Or do you sell Bob?
Who buys Bob?
I mean, so there was links today. I did see this, and once again, Graham Potter could be our savior. West Ham is apparently interested in Sanchez. Now, whether that's true or not, because it's transfer window season and there's bullshit everywhere. I don't know. Just thought it came out today. I don't know. I mean, Jurgensen would be our Jurgensen would be our back. I mean, Kepa had a good year. I think the problem with Kepa has always been his height. I think if Kepa was like 6'4" or 6'5", Kepa probably would have turned out to be a fantastic goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But the dude is just what is Kepa, like 6 foot or something like that? He's so freaking short, and that's like always been my biggest knock with Kepa.
This is annoying. I don't want to do.
I mean, he's 6'2", which is a little taller than what I thought, but
yeah, skip goalkeeper. Let's just not talk about them.
Well, okay.
I'm kidding. I don't know, man. I really have no idea what to do with Bob at this point, because
it's a conundrum.
If we buy another goalkeeper, I doubt Bob stays on.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Okay. So is this what we want to happen? This is what we want. We talk about this every year. This is what we want to happen, right?
Yeah. We can be realistic about it if we want to for a minute and be like, I don't think this is going to happen, but this is what I want, So
we could be altruistic and just be like, what's best for the club?
What is best for Chelsea? Yeah.
In my honest opinion, I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, unless it is popular. I'm out of touch with the Chelsea sphere. I would really like to sell Bob.
Yeah, I know. I think I think that is probably a united front with Chelsea. Everybody wants Bob. The conundrum then lies: who do you put in net after Bob leaves? Like, do you go sign another goalkeeper?
Yes.
Do you give it to Petrovic? Obviously, nobody thinks Jurgensen's. Petrovic had a great year last year. Does Petrovic get the spot? I mean, I think that is where there's more contention between Chelsea fans is what do we do if we sell Bob? Because I think everybody wants to sell Bob, or at least whatever it takes, just get Bob out the club. That's that's the consensus.
I mean, we have. I'm just going to go through the roster as it stands right now, because I do think this is important, at least in the goalkeeper thing. I don't think we could do this.
It is because you're talking about for the Club World Cup.
I just think it's important in general for because who's next, right? Because if you sell one goalkeeper, this is a position that has to have a backup and a third. So
correct.
You have Kepa, you have Bob, you have Jurgensen, you have Bergstrom, you have Slonina, and you have Penders, who we bought last year at the very end of the summer transfer window. Penders is not going to be the backup on the bench every game.
No.
Slonina is not going to be the backup on the bench every game.
No.
Bergstrom's probably not.
I think Bergstrom might end up being.
But is Petrovic even is he even in the squad right now?
No, that's the thing with Petrovic is that. But now, so he's not in the squad. Now, if you believe what came out, he asked not to go. So he could, I think it's sort of been put out there. I think it's sort of been told to Petrovic, you're not going to be at Chelsea next year. They see somebody that has increased in value from when they bought him. Now they can sell him, which is what Blue Coat does. Not what I would do, but that's what I think that's the route we're going with Petrovic. I think it's sort of
you keep Bob, at the end, who was proven this.
I think I think ultimately that's because ultimately I think Penders is the future. I think that's what the club sees. They see Penders as the future, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, just will he turn out to be like the last freaking Belgium goalkeeper we had and end up being a snake and want to go to freaking Madrid, at some point in time. So, and hold our club hostage.
But they kind of did the same thing with Slonina, right? They bought him a couple years ago thinking he was going to be, and then now he's 21. And I mean, maybe, but he's not getting looks at the moment. So,
right. And he's not. And I think the difference is with Penders. I think at least statistically, and people rate Penders really high, outside of the club and stuff like that. So, and I think that's another reason that they're selling Petrovic is to show Penders you have a path to the first team.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the question is, do you buy another goalkeeper as a stopgap? I guess more or less sell Sanchez, buy a goalkeeper as a stopgap for 2 or 3 years to let Penders get his, find his way and prove that he can be that goalkeeper, or what do you do? I mean, like that's because he's going to want first team football, like you said. So I think the most logical thing for Penders is we're going to loan him out, and I'm betting. I would bet a lot of money if I was a betting man, but I don't because I have an addictive personality. Penders will be at Strasbourg next year. Just my opinion. I think Penders ends up at Strasbourg because the prevailing thought from people is that we're selling a goalkeeper and we're sending another goalkeeper out on loan. So your obviously thought is Penders goes on loan. Petrovic is the one that's going to be sold. And the question then is, do they sell Bob and buy somebody else like a Mike Mignon? Maybe they go back in for him, or do we just have to suffer through another year, Bob? And if you watch that Flamingos game, that was one of Bob's worst games in a long time. Like he hadn't been that shit in a while, and he was shit in that game. So if that's any is he regressing now? So it's our goalkeeper situation is just screwed, Jason. That's that's what we are.
Yeah. How many goalkeepers do we normally keep? Like 5?
3, I think.
3 I was just looking at our season last season, and like Bergstrom went out. So so we had 4.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Slonina maybe staying and being the third keeper behind Jurgensen. Possibly. I don't think it makes a lot
out too. Yeah, no, you're right. 3. We keep 3.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know, man. I think you and me both agree we want Bob gone.
Yeah. I've hardly ever been a fan of Bob. I think you and I give him his flowers when he deserves his flowers.
Yeah.
I think he finished the season strong.
He did.
I still think Bob is a liability. And I'd rather roll the dice on another goalkeeper than and like you said, like if we are trying to play Maresca ball, then Bob's not the guy.
Yeah, 100%.
And his decision making hasn't caught up with his talent.
And I don't think it ever will at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in this system for a year now.
Yep.
Like, do we believe he can do it next year? That's the bet. Do you bet that Bob can do it next year, or do you roll the dice on another goalkeeper? And I'd rather roll the dice, especially like on somebody. I'd rather roll the dice on somebody like Mike, because I'm with you. Like, if Mike's not as good of a shot stopper, that's fine. If he can distribute the freaking ball and he's not giving away goals, like, because that's another thing. Bob gave away 5 goals, literally gave away 5 goals.
That's a valid point. Yeah.
You know, if you have a keeper that doesn't do that, I'd rather have that.
Yeah.
Now, Bob got that under control later in the season, but like at the same time, we were already worried when he came in with Potter, and he's been a worry since he's been here. This is not like his first year. It's his first year of Maresca ball. And sure, he was a good shot stopper. He had a good save percentage. So
but that's it.
But
honestly,
there is a nervousness, and we've talked about that. I don't know how long we want to talk about goalkeepers. There is a nervousness around him. Is he creating an environment of confidence moving forward in the back line? I doubt it. But
I think he did at the end of the season.
It's better than it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because Maresca had him kicking the ball long, not because he was like Maresca took him out of a position, which credit to Maresca for this. Like, I think he deserves a lot of credit for this. Credit to him for adjusting his, like, I don't think people notice that a lot, but he adjusts his tactics to the sense that, like, okay, we're just going to kick the damn ball back to them, because even when Bob, his distribution is shit too. Wow. Like, he can't distribute the ball. He can't pass the ball. He's a really good shot stopper. So it's, do you sacrifice control of a match and controlling the game and playing Maresca ball, and then maybe conceding a few more goals because your goalkeeper is not as good as a shot stopper, or do you value the shot stopping of Sanchez and you just keep playing the ball long because that's the only way he can play. Right. You can't play Maresca ball with Sanchez. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It is what it is at this point. And I mean, from what I've heard and read, the goalkeeper coach, whatever his name is, has a lot of sway. For whatever reason, why a goalkeeper coach has sway or power is beyond me and just crazy. Like, so I don't know. It is what it is. We're screwed unless we get another goalkeeper in here.
Yeah.
So.
I'm looking at Bob's player traits on FotMob because they have those nice little where they compare him to other goalkeepers, right? Clean sheets, 48th percentile.
Yeah.
Goals conceded, 46th percentile. Save percentage actually is 39th percentile.
Yeah.
So not as good as I was thinking, at least. I think this is for this season. I don't know. It just says player traits, so it's not by season. So this could be overall, but long ball accuracy, 7%.
Yep. I knew that would be bad.
Okay. And sweeper, he is 98th percentile, and high claim, he's 96th percentile. So there's a couple things that he's good at, but in terms of some of the other things that we need him to do, not the greatest. So I'm for selling, Bob.
I think so. I don't think there's a need to go through the rest of the list with keepers. I think we pretty much just broke it down for you. Like, Bob, we want to sell. I would not want to sell Petrovic, but I think he will be sold. Yeah. And I think, wow, my brain is going blank here. Penders is the future. Jurgensen, Stain. I don't think there's any.
Yeah.
I just think Penders will end up at Strasbourg. I mean, I guess you could, and I think Jurgensen has to stay because he's the only other goalkeeper that we have that has any experience.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like Jurgensen has got to be the backup. You can't send him to Strasbourg because you can't go into the season with Penders being your backup, not knowing what he is. And Slonina's just not there. You know, maybe if you bought another goalkeeper and didn't get rid of Sanchez, then you could send Jurgensen out alone. But God, if our first team goalkeeper went down and we had to go back to Sanchez, that would be nightmares.
Yeah, I agree.
But all right, I think that about wraps that up. Okay, so we'll go to defenders now. This is the defenders is just a nightmare. So we'll do what we normally do and go through and say the defenders that we are not going to sell, all right, or that we just don't, have any interest in talking about because there is no reason to talk about them because we're not going to sell them. Okay.
Yeah.
Levi Colwell, Mark Cucurella,
keep for sure.
Reece James,
keep.
And then I'll throw this in there just because I feel like, since he made his debut, we'll throw Josh in there too. Because by God, if they sell Josh, I will be so freaking pissed.
Yeah.
Those are like the only. I mean, I guess Tosin too. I don't think Tosin goes anywhere.
Yeah.
I think he stays. I think he's a good reliable.
Mamadou Sarr stays because we just
right.
So.
Correct. So he stays. So you're looking at Vega, Chalobah. We can have a discussion about Fofana, Badiashile, Gusto, and DCC. That's it, right? Am I missing anybody?
Is DCC on the list?
He is on loan, so he's probably not. Oh, I forgot about Chilwell, too.
And Chilwell.
And Gilchrist.
Isn't Chilwell gone?
No, he's just on loan.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. The defenders is such a freaking disaster.
Yeah, it's weird because we're like in a decent place defender wise, but then depth wise we're not. So
yeah,
and then it just gets real weird.
It's
because I don't know how sellable some of these players are at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, you look at decency. So, yeah, let's just, I think you look, so let's just take the two, well, I'll say Vega, but decency and Badiashile, the two of the younger center backs they bought. Not DC's not that young, but that they hoped would turn out that really haven't turned out. Badiashile, I think the injury affected him more so than anything. And decency, I think he's just a dumbass. So I think you take both of those, and I think you just cut your bait with them. Like Jason is pausing, and he is going to go somewhere. So I'm going to sit here and give you my spill. Decency went out on loan, so what's the point? I think everybody recognizes that he has issues with defending. He's not great at defending, and I think that it's just smart business. Try and get your money back, get rid of decency. Maybe some French club will want him back. Same thing with Badiashile. I think there's still something there with Badiashile. I think that's the intriguing part with him. It still feels like there's something there, but I don't know what the injury has done to him because it did do something. He's just not on that same trajectory as I feel like he was before the injury. Because before that injury, I think a lot of people were like, we finally found our left-footed backup to Colwell. Like Badiashile looks like he's going to be a great young talent. He's going to come along, and it just that injury hampered him and stalled. And maybe he'll find his form again. And I do hope so because I do like Badiashile. I rate him a lot higher than decency. So I don't know. There's just something about, but I don't. You can't go. So if you keep Badiashile, then you've got to sell Vega, even though I think Vega is probably the best backup that we have out of all the ones because he's versatile and can also play left back and play midfield. And I think he's coming into his own right as a center back right now. And the bad thing about Vega is I like Vega, but I think Vega did this to himself whenever and I understand why he did it. Whenever he went out on loan, he said, I want to play left center back. He's like, that's what I want to do now because I want to earn my place in the Portuguese national team, which I get that and understand that. But when you came to Chelsea, you said that you were a Swiss Army knife and that you could do anything and that you would play wherever. And now you're changing. So, it sucks because I really do think Vega is a really good player and very versatile. But you were brought here to be a backup left back, a backup left center back, and possibly plug into the midfield when we needed you. And now, I think Vega's gone probably this summer. I would consider loaning him out just because I think he has so much potential. But he's going to want to play left center back, and we have Colwell. So it's like one's 21 and the other one is, what's Colwell? 22.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree with you about Badiashile. I think we were all excited when he came back from loan to kind of shore up some stuff. And then we used him intermittently.
Yeah.
Part of that just is Maresca found a good back line and Cucurella was kind of on fire. So don't mess with a good thing. And then, I agree with you about Vega. I'm looking at his stats. Just wasn't that successful on his loan. I mean, he started 12 games, so just not terrible. But not sure how much of a chance he actually had this season. Maybe it was good for him to go out on loan and he still got some playing time anyway.
Yeah.
Man. Defenders is a really interesting thing because then you have guys like Fofana.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Do you want to do a buy, keep, sell on the two we just talked about, Badiashile and Vega first, and then we can move on?
Yeah, I mean, I think Vega. I think you loan him again.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because I think he's so versatile, and if you can somehow convince him to come in and be a backup and to Levi and play left back, then I think you've done it. I don't know whether he'll do that or not. I don't think so, but also loaning him out and getting somebody to pay his wages, at least somewhat, and then he goes and has a good season. Maybe he can increase his value since we just bought him last year. That's the thing too. We bought him last year, so how much are we really going to get back on what we paid for him?
Right.
So that's always the thing with that. And Badiashile, I mean, I think we'll end up keeping him.
Yeah.
What hold on. Is Sarr right-footed or left-footed? I'm looking. He's right-footed. Okay. So he wouldn't compete for that spot. What about Anselmino? He's also right-footed. So, yeah, we don't really have another left-footed center back. So I feel like unless you go out and buy one, which who knows, there's probably some 19-year-old South American kid they're looking at right now.
I think if you keep Badiashile with Sarr now, with Tosin, if you keep Tosin, we're like, and then you got Josh. We're kind of good on center backs because you do have like several players that can play there.
Well, then that still leads you back to your question of, what do we do with like Fofana? Because if he's your starter, let's just say hypothetically Fofana is your starter, then you have Tosin, Sarr, and let's say we keep Badiashile. That's quite a few center backs.
Right.
So, but only two of them are left-footed.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 probably isn't unreasonable to keep, I guess. But
yeah, but then we also need a backup left back.
That's what we need more than anything that nobody is talking about.
They're not going to get a backup right back, but I imagine we would need a backup right back.
All right, let's address the center backs first, and then we'll move to right back because I have things to say about that. I don't know. Chalobah.
I have no idea.
What do we keep, sell, loan Chalobah again this season? Let's just say we're keeping 5 center backs, okay? Let's say we're keeping 5. We agree. So we agree Colwell is staying.
Yeah, has to.
I mean, Sarr is obviously going to stay because we just got him. Then you have.
There's no chance of loaning Sarr.
Maybe I just don't see it.
I don't know what their plan is, but yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they went ahead and bought him now from Strasbourg.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to loan him back to Strasbourg, but then there's 2 of your slots back to Strasbourg, or 3 slots. There's your 3 slots back to Strasbourg already tied up because they're already sending Paez there. They said they're going to send a goalkeeper there. So then if you send Sarr, that's your 3 slots. You can't send anybody else that way. So maybe they loan him out. I mean, he is only 19. I think a loan would do him good. I mean, if we were playing the Conference League again this year, I'd be like, maybe keep him.
Yeah.
But, okay, if we do send Sarr out on loan, then you could keep Chalobah at that point, who I think is very versatile. And I like Chalobah personally as a person. Like, I think he's just a good person. Like, you need those good locker room people, and I feel like Chalobah is one of those.
Yeah.
So it's just a mess, man. It's just a mess.
Who's your preferred keep? Just do your preferred 5, and then we'll leave it at that.
So you want me to do my preferred keeps?
Yeah. And then the rest of them that's for the club to decide.
All right, I'm keeping Sarr because he's 19.
Yeah.
And he's young. Gonna be good. Colwell, keeping him. I'm keeping Chalobah. Badiashile. Fofana's the oddball in all this. Because if he's hurt again, then you need Tosin and you need Chalobah.
Right.
But if he stays healthy, you don't need one of them. So
right.
Fofana, I would rather sell and buy somebody that we know is healthy, that we know can stay healthy, and buy a permanent right center back to pair with Colwell. That's what I would love to happen because I just don't trust Fofana at this point in his career. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You've missed more games than you've played for us. And you've been here 3 years. So.
Yeah, and I think it's like what's annoying about that is we automatically think he's the starter.
Yeah.
And I don't think he should be the starter. I think he should be the backup.
But he's better than the other two that are in front of him.
But he's
That's
not
the thing.
Healthy. He can't stay healthy.
I agree he can't. Like it's frustrating when you see somebody like that. And I do like Fofana. That's the thing too. I like Fofana. And I wanted Fofana to be good when he came here. He made me nervous because he was coming off his injury, and then he got injured. And then he came back and he got injured. And he came back and then he missed the entire freaking season this year, pretty much outside of like 6 or 7 matches. So it's like, and when he was in there, he was really good, So I don't know, man. At this point, I want them to buy a permanent right center back. Get rid of Fofana. I would sell Fofana. I would say sell Tosin as well because I like Chalobah more personally. Chalobah's younger than Tosin. He's more versatile than Tosin. Not saying Tosin's bad. I'm saying this is just what I personally want. And then you have Sarr, new guy, Chalobah, Colwell, and Badiashile going into the year as your 5 center backs. Ideally, don't think it's going to happen. That's what I want to happen.
I would agree with that. Like I go back and forth between Tosin and Chalobah, but I think Chalobah would definitely win out for me as well.
Yeah.
And I would agree those are center backs. The question mark is Fofana per usual.
It is.
And it is frustrating that he is the shoe-in de facto starter.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, dude has sat out more games than he's played for us. And I find it very frustrating because 1, I feel like it's a waste, and then 2, I really like him. So
yeah, it sucks because you do like Fofana, and like that's the bad, and that's these episodes do suck in some sense because you have to like with Vega. Like I love Vega, but Vega wanting to be a left center back at Chelsea isn't going to happen. So we're gonna have to move him out. So it just is what it is. And like you said earlier, we need a deadgum left backup, and that's what made Vegas so great. And I think that's what I honestly think that's give them credit where I guess credit is due. Stewart and Winstanley saw in Vega was that hey, he's versatile. He can play center back and left back. That's our backup for Cucurella because we're wanting to get rid of Chilwell.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever.
But if he comes back as a left back, that's not terrible.
It's not. If that's their plan to talk, because I mean we have heard nothing about a left back.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. I haven't watched it yet, but Maresca said something today in his press conference that people on Twitter were getting a little mad about the left back, and I haven't watched it yet because we're on this podcast. But we haven't heard anything about a left back. We can't run Cucurella out there for another 50 plus matches this year when he's got international duty with Spain. And he's at the World Cup next summer. So it's like Cucurella will not be alive at the end of next summer if we do this again to him. And he did get hurt this year for a little while. Don't forget that. And Gusto was our de facto left back, and gosh knows we don't want that to happen. So
we do have one other left back on the team.
Who?
Bashir Humphreys.
I mean, technically Chilwell too.
And, yeah.
Your favorite Chelsea player ever.
I don't dislike Chilwell. I just got tired of watching Chilwell play. And I would rather never do that again if I don't have to.
I don't blame
you. He'd have to come back from loan, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. So I guess that brings us to the right back issue. What is it? I really don't think this is an issue as much as we just need to sell Gusto and just make Josh the permanent backup to Reece James.
Sure.
And that's why I rate Chalobah so much, because if Reece goes down, you still have two right backs technically, because Chalobah can play right back. And that's why I rate him more than Tosin, because he's done it before. So you just don't invert them. And it's like you're playing a three at the back with three center backs with Chalobah, because Cucurella inverts. So it's that's why I like Chalobah. But Gusto, I think the problem with Gusto is, and we've talked about on this podcast at nauseam, he just doesn't fit Maresca's system, and it's as simple as that. It's not that Gusto's become a worse player; it's that he isn't capable of doing what Maresca wants him to do.
Yeah, he seems so lost out there.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's just like we talked about in here. Conte made Victor Moses look like a Ballon d'Or winner. Victor Moses was not even close to that, but Conte made him look that way because he put him in a position to excel and use his strengths. This is the exact opposite of that, where Maresca is taking Gusto and asks Gusto to do things he is incapable of doing. Yeah. And it is what it is. Sell Gusto. That's my answer.
Yeah, I would love to sell Gusto and buy another right back, but I also think
I don't even want to buy one. I'm fine with Josh.
Oh, just Chalobah. Yeah.
I'm fine with Josh and Chalobah being there. So
then you buy the left back?
So, yes, I would rather buy a left back than a right back, but I would also be okay with giving Ishii a shot at it on our U21 team. So I would be okay with giving just what we did with Josh this year, do with him. What we did with Josh last year, do with Ishii this year. Bring him up, let him play like the stupid freaking cup that nobody cares about. Let him play in maybe the early round of the FA Cup. Give him some minutes. Let's see what he's got out there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we end up drawing some crappy teams in the Champions League. I don't know. But it is what it is. I would rather, I think, buy a more experienced left back. Yeah. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation there too, because I think Cucurella had a pretty great season.
Yes.
And he's able to do what Maresca asked him to do.
Yep.
Because Cucurella is now a potent attacking left back.
Mm-hmm.
Because he inverts all the way into the attack. So I don't know if you find another one of those, because our right backs can't quite do it that way.
Not as well,
even though Reece can get up there, but Reece is still nursing some injuries and stuff. Yeah. And I think he's lost a step, even though he's still.
He has lost a step for sure.
And Gusto definitely can't do it. So I think if you do buy a left back, it does have to be someone special, or you're gonna have to have some options, or at least like some tactics change if Cucurella goes out.
Yeah.
In some ways. But
I think that's what makes Vegas so important. But he's not going to do it.
Right.
Because he can invert like Cucurella does. So
so what is Vega's contract?
It's probably 7 years. He's only on, that's only his first year.
It's rough.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. The center backs are just a mess. The defense outside of Reese and Kukurea and Colwell, I feel like those three are like the only ones that don't have question marks around them. Everybody else does.
Yeah.
And maybe Fofana doesn't with the club, but I think with fans he does just because of his injury history. And if the club isn't asking questions about it, then they should be.
Yeah.
But you know how that goes.
Well, maybe it'll be more fun to talk about the midfielders.
Maybe it will. So let's move on to that. So I guess any last thoughts about the center backs and goalkeeper? Jason?
I feel weirdly optimistic after this conversation somehow, and I don't know why. Like it is because there are options. Like
there are options.
They're unproven options, but I think there are options. And so even if we don't dip a toe into buying anymore, then like I'm weirdly like on the good vibes train, which is what we said we were going to do in the summer anyway. And I don't know why. I hope that I can think about this more level-headed later. And so I don't really know why this has hit the wave of positivity has hit me here. But I mean, if you look at it from the other side of the coin, like there's potential to play youth. If Fofana comes back, that's what we were saying last season. If Fofana comes back, it's almost like getting a brand new defender.
Yeah.
And he stays healthy.
Again,
if Reese stays healthy, that's the problem. Like they both just can't. And then you're stuck with Justo, like as the de facto backup. So even though we could play Chalobah there. So it's just one of those things where it's like, hopefully there's a little bit of competition that is happening behind the scenes and they get to fight for spots, and that it isn't as de facto as we tend to think it is, like from our vantage point.
Yeah.
And I hope that Maresca has some plans in case players go down, because Kukurea is weirdly one of the most important players on the pitch at the moment. And I get nervous about how that's going to play out based on what we've seen. But I would hope, it's like you said, Maresca was adjusting things for Bob as the goalkeeper. I would hope that he isn't so rigid in his thing. And I think he's proven that he's not in ways that maybe like Potter was. And that's why we were so critical of him. So, yeah, again, I'll just reiterate, weirdly positive, even though it is a very messy situation in the back line. So that's my final thought.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think that hopefully we can figure this shit out, because I think that it's worrisome. I'm glad you're positive, because I'm not. Because
it's very worrisome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be negative Nancy, because I don't trust the two idiots that are in charge of this. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just think that
it's totally fair.
I don't trust them. I don't trust them to find a goalkeeper. I don't trust them to find a good starting right back. I expect them to find some 19-year-old from South America to buy. So yeah, whatever. But
I mean, anyway, we did just buy a 19-year-old center back. So
yeah, that's true.
Who's part of the keep?
He is French, though, so
and he's French.
I think that
he's still super young.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope he turns out better than the last center back we had that was named Sarr. So
yeah.
But I mean, I think that's the thing, is like that one. I think was always coming. That we were always going to buy him from Strasbourg, and I just don't know if they bought him a year because they have to pay fair market value for him. They can't right. So if he had another good year, his value goes up.
Right.
Then they're going to have to pay more for him next summer. So just go and buy him this summer. So he might go back to Strasbourg. That's just 3 loan spots are gone at that point in time, I felt like. So I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, tell these people where they can find us, Jason.
Yeah, we're on X, we're on Twitter. Well, that's the same. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Substack. Check us out. Jason, we'll be writing a blog post this week.
Hey,
stay tuned. I'm playing to some of my strengths on this particular blog post. I will take all the time I can this week to write it. So look for it later in the week. Enjoy. But we made it easy for you. We have the same name on all the platforms. You can see it below. Check us out at Red White Blues FC.
Yep. And watch us on YouTube if you prefer that. Like, subscribe, follow, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Put your bell on. Comment. Whatever. Tell us what Chelsea should do with our goalkeepers and center backs, because we have no clue. Whatever. And listen to us if you want to on Apple or Spotify, because that's where our podcasts are located. So until next time, we will catch you guys and gals on the flip side.
Fafana, please come back. Flippity floppity.